the homeless kid who invented Louis Vuitton. The name Louis Vuitton is well known all over the world. It is one of the top brands in fashion and has maintained this position for the past several decades. The luxury fashion house brand was named after its creator, the French entrepreneur and designer Louis Vuitton. In 1854 and today, the company is worth hundreds of billions. Bernard Arnault, the present chairman and head of LVMH, is the richest man on earth, and LVMH is one of the richest companies in the world. However, despite being the creator of a prominent global brand, Louis Vuitton's life involved anything but luxury. In fact, at the time, Louis didn't even have a home to live in. The French designer saw many ups and downs in his life and overcame all his obstacles to write a new chapter in history that has changed how fashion is perceived today. So, how did a homeless boy create a multi-billion-dollar fashion brand? And what challenges did he face on his way? To know the full story behind the creation of the luxury fashion house brand, watch this video till the end because we'll be spilling all the beans on it. Here we begin. Louis Vuitton was born in 1821 to parents Javier and Caron in a small town known as Ancay, situated in the eastern region of France. Louis belonged to a family that included members of the working class, and his ancestors all worked as farmers, milliners, carpenters, etc. His father worked as a farmer and his mother worked as a hat maker. Louis lost his mother to death at the age of 10, and his father remarried soon after. And like in movies, his stepmother made his life hell. But Louis wasn't a feeble kid. He was quite headstrong and stubborn, so when he turned 13 years old, he decided to leave his terrible life in Ancay and go try his hand at things in the city of love and fashion, Paris, by foot. It took him nearly 2 years to reach his destination. To keep himself fed, he did various jobs and stayed wherever he could find shelter. Finally, Louis reached Paris in the year 1837, and the city was at the peak of the Industrial Revolution, which led it to have both noteworthy splendor and abject poverty, as well as faster growth and confounding epidemics. As a teenager, Louis Vuitton worked as an apprentice in the workshop of Monsieur Marcal, a successful boxmaker. In the 19th century, boxmaking was considered a modern and respectable craft in the room. The job required making customized boxes to store goods. The period saw the commencement of the first ever railway line to Paris, which made travel easier and more accessible for people. So they wanted boxes to store their valuable goods for long trips that would safeguard their belongings. Although it wasn't a job that paid handsomely, Louis Vuitton learned a lot of techniques that came in handy in the future. Slowly, Louis became a well-known crafter of his art and came to be known as one of the best people in the business, which led him to be appointed as the personal boxmaker of Eugénie de Montillon, the wife of the Emperor of France, Napoleon III, the Empress of France. After working there for a year, his demand grew even more among French people, and Louis gained enough money to open up his own shop. Working for the Empress also gave Louis a gateway to a class of royal and elite people who became his client for the rest of his life. During this period, Vuitton also met his wife, Pario, and married her the same year he opened his shop. The year 1854 changed a lot for Louis. He came up with many ideas that would transform the industry standards. The boxes were made from leather at the time. Still, Vuitton experimented with various materials and made boxes from canvas because, compared to leather, the canvas was lighter, more water-resistant and more durable, enabling the boxes to be more easily stacked and loaded. This new product commemorated the advent of modern luggage. Louis's products became a luxurious and must-have accessory in only a period of 2 years. Louis then decided to try the same thing with another accessory, handbags. He made handbags out of canvas, which became a huge hit among people, and the popularity increased demand for the product. So Louis started creating handbags with various styles, and ultimately, the market was too big for Louis Vuitton to manage alone. So he sought the help of his son, Georges Vuitton. Georges followed in his father's footsteps and came up with fresh ideas that revolutionized the industry. The tumbler lock in those trunks or boxes was converted into an accessory for chests, preventing theft. This led to family products becoming even more attractive and popular. To meet the increasing demand for his products, Louis expanded his shop into a bigger workshop in a town outside Paris called Osnières in 1859. The business was flourishing, and Vuitton started receiving requests not only from the French royals but also from the Khedive of Egypt, at the time, Ismail Pasha. However, in 1870, Louis's business was hindered by the beginning of the Franco-Prussian War, and the siege that followed in Paris, which led to a bloody civil war and demolished the French Empire. When the blockade was finally stopped in 1871, Louis found his workshop in Osnières in ruins, with staff nowhere to be found and the equipment stolen from the shop. But it didn't deter Louis's will and spirit. He showed the same determination he showed when he decided to leave his home for Paris and completely devoted himself to rebuilding his business. Within months, Louis built a brand new shop at a different address. This new location was near an elite jockey club and gained a more aristocratic feel. Gradually, the label started being seen as more luxurious and elite than before, and this led to the advent of the modern luxury brand. Louis's business at this new location received orders from all over the world. By the year 1885, Louis started receiving so many orders that he decided to open up a new shop in London that benefited him in diversifying his reach and client base that included more explorers and royals, such as Alfonso XII. Louis soon garnered a reputation for being the best designer of the time, and his products were the only ones preferred in the house of elite people. In 1892, Louis Vuitton released his primary catalogue, which made ordering easier. This became a major move, and his business reached even greater heights. However, Louis Vuitton passed away in the same year at the age of 72. Georges Vuitton inherited his father's business and decided to finish his father's unfinished plans. He met a man named John Wanamaker in the United States of America, who helped Georges start a new department store and created the concept of the price tag. In the year 1896, the monogram of the brand was created by Georges to honor his late father. It was his initials, L and V, interlocked in a floral pattern. Georges Vuitton and his son, Gaston Vuitton, followed Louis Vuitton's footsteps, developed new and modern designs such as daily use bags and a bag for champagne, and even redesigned a Coco Chanel committee, the Alma. Georges built a distribution network but soon passed away, and his son Gaston Vuitton took over the business. After the end of the Second World War, Gaston entrusted his sons Jacques Vuitton, Henri Vuitton, and Claude Vuitton to rebuild the company. They handled the company and ensured that new models and luggage designs were launched every year. Unfortunately, Gaston soon passed away, and the business was divided among his sons, who let their sister's husband, Henri Rachemier, take over the company. Henri swerved the brand Louis Vuitton from wholesale to retail and launched it into the Asian market. In nearly 60 years, the company's sales surged to millions of dollars, and by 1987, the sales reached a huge mark of $1 billion. Later, the company brought more designers, including watches, jewelry, and other luxurious goods. From there, the brand grew even more popular and gradually became what it is today. What do you think of Louis Vuitton's story? Let us know in the comment section below. This is all for today, but we'll be back soon with more such videos, so subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon.